From the moment the old man stepped through the glass doors of the city's grandest bank, the atmosphere shifted, though no one noticed it yet. His clothes were worn, his jeans torn at the knees, and his faded plaid shirt hung loosely on his thin shoulders. He looked like someone who had carried far more weight in life than the small leather wallet trembling in his hands. The employees at the counter glanced at him with raised brows, and the manager smirked before he even approached. Yet in that fragile moment, hidden behind the wrinkles of time and hardship, was a truth that no one in that building was prepared to face. If you believe in kindness, humanity, and giving others a second chance, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps more stories like this reach the world. The man took slow, deliberate steps toward the counter. The bank was bustling with customers dressed in suits, heels, and expensive watches, but he looked like an outsider lost in a world that had moved on without him. His hat, battered from years of sun, cast a shadow over eyes filled with both humility and exhaustion. He approached the manager, who stood tall in a polished suit, his confidence bordering on arrogance. The employees nearby chuckled quietly as the old man opened his wallet, revealing only a few crumpled bills and a small, worn deposit slip. Inside, his heart pounded, not from embarrassment, but from the memories that clung to that very wallet. For decades, he had lived a life of simplicity, giving, and silent endurance. His late wife used to say the world repaid kindness when one least expected it. But after she passed, and after he lost his home due to an illness that drained his savings, life had become a test of how much a man could lose before breaking. And today, he simply wanted to check the balance of an account he hadn't touched in years. It wasn't money he sought. It was closure, a final thread of a life he once shared with the woman who made everything feel worth it. But the manager didn't see any of that. He only saw a poor man wasting his time. With a smirk, he leaned on the counter and pointed at the wallet as if it were a joke. His voice, loud enough for others to hear, dripped with sarcasm as he mocked the old man's appearance and asked if he even understood how banks worked. The two younger employees beside him laughed, assuming the manager was simply adding humor to their dull afternoon. Instead of reacting, the old man nodded softly. With trembling fingers, he slid the slip forward. Seeing the amount likely stored decades ago, the manager burst out laughing and exclaimed something that drew chuckles from across the lobby. He said he'd pay double, whatever balance the old man had, because he was convinced the account would be empty, and that the entire situation was nothing more than entertainment for him and his staff. Customers nearby turned to watch, some amused, some uncomfortable, but no one stepped in. The old man lowered his gaze, not out of shame, but out of disappointment. Not for himself, but for the world in front of him, a world that judged worth through fabric and footwear. He simply whispered that he hoped the manager kept his promise. The manager waved him off impatiently and asked an associate to pull up the account, still grinning like someone who believed he was moments away from delivering the punchline of the day. Then everything changed. The moment the employee typed the old man's name into the system, her eyes widened. She blinked rapidly as if the numbers were playing tricks on her. The screen displayed a balance that could buy the entire building they stood in. She checked again. Same result. She quietly signaled the manager, who strolled over with arrogance still dripping from his expression until he saw it. His smile faded. His throat tightened. A cold wave washed over him, chilling the confidence he had flaunted moments earlier. The old man standing before him, clothes worn, shoes dusty, carrying a wallet patched with tape, was not a poor stranger. He was the founder of the bank, the original CEO, the man whose silent generosity and leadership decades earlier had built the very success these employees were enjoying today. He was the reason this branch even existed. And he had come quietly, humbly, simply wanting to check the last account he never closed. The account he created with his wife the day they dreamed of building a future. The manager felt the weight of his words crash down on him. The laughter from moments ago now echoed in his skull like thunder. Shame crawled up his spine as he realized he had mocked the very man whose name still appeared in the bank's original registration documents. Customers who overheard the revelation stepped back in disbelief. The room fell silent, the kind of silence that forces people to confront the truth within themselves. The old man didn't scold him. He didn't raise his voice or demand apologies. He simply took a breath, lifted his head, and said that humility was priceless and respect for others, no matter their appearance, was the real measure of a person. His voice was gentle but carried the weight of a lifetime. The manager's eyes watered as he apologized, his arrogance crushed into dust. The old man returned the deposit slip to his wallet, thanked the staff, and turned toward the exit with a quiet dignity that left the entire bank frozen. As he walked out, the employees and customers watched with a mixture of guilt and admiration. They realized they had witnessed something greater than wealth. They had seen character, humility, and the profound truth that the value of a person can never be judged by their clothes. If this story touched your heart, please like, comment, and share it. Your support helps us bring more real, emotional stories to life.